In 8.7, the jar method, Geoff takes us through how to perform a soil composition test using a mason jar. Can you show us this process step by step? How do you make sense of the different layers of sand, silt and clay? How do these observations come to inform, become information which can help us? Okay, Nick, I've got my jar. It's not a mason jar, it's just a jam jar. Well, it had dried grape leaves in it actually, but it's a jar, a normal jar. So I've got a trench here just next to me. This is where we've been laying a pipe. Pretty good place to grab some soil. So this is what my topsoil is like around my garden area. I just dumped some of that soil in there. There we go. You want enough to see some differences in layers. I get that bit of grass out. There we go. That's all I need. Now, I'm just going to fill that up with water. I happen to have an irrigation pipe here. Right up nearly to the top, but I need a bit of air left. Leave a bit of air. And I'll put my jar lid on, and immediately you can see the sand settling down. But then I'm going to shake it. Let's get that lid on nice and firm. I've got a bit of sand, very sandy soil in my garden. A bit of sand off there. Whoops. There we go. So I'm going to shake it. I'm going to shake it. I'm going to really mobilize and shake it. I want every bit of soil mixed. And I'm going to stand it probably for a few days until it all settles. And not move it. Keep it really still. You can see straight away there's a sand layer, the largest particles have dropped out. Okay, it's already starting to show there's a sand layer and a finer layer. So it's the sands and the silts. And there's a lighter layer in the water that'll take a while to settle because it's a finer material. Let me show you one that I did a few days ago because I knew this question was coming. Okay, here's a jar that I set up a few days ago with a lot more clay soil, and there's a lot of suspended clay still in the water. It's taken a while to settle, but you can see the layers here. So there's a very sharp sand at the bottom, a large sand, and then a sandy loam next to it, and then a silt. Can't actually see any grains in that silt, and then the clay. There's the light clay at the top. Now, how do we make use of this? Well, if you want to be accurate, you'd actually measure it and say, well, there's 5 centimeters there, and there's about just over ½ centimeter of clay. So it's 10% clay then. It's 1/10 clay, a little bit more than 1/10 clay. So that's, say if that was a centimeter of clay, it'd be 20% clay. 5 centimeters. If 1 centimeter is that clay layer, it's 1/5, that'd be 20% clay. Now we can decide whether we have enough clay in this mix to make a dam with it. We nearly could. 30% clay is fine. It's only 20% clay if it's 1 centimeter in this depth of soil. But we can actually identify what type of soil we've got. It's got a clay content and a sand content together, and there's a little bit of silt and loam in the middle. So you could say it's a clay deficient soil. It hasn't got a lot of clay, maybe 20%. It has quite a lot of sand. So it's sandy loam with 20% clay content. You can make decisions about that now. You know, you can work out, you know, what type of acidity to expect. It hasn't got a lot of clay. It's not probably going to waterlog. It's got a lot of sand. It might lean towards alkalinity if it's all sand. It won't waterlog easily with that free draining sand. And you can make decisions about whether this is this is a dam building material. So if we're going to look at our subsoil that we'll be building a dam with, we want 30% clay. So we want, you know, 1.5 centimeters at least, 2 centimeters be even better, of clay. It just gives you a proportion, gives you a quick look at the proportions of clay to loam to sand in your soils and your subsoils, just by mobilizing it in the water and letting it settle out.